nadie le va a pedir a ninguno que acepte este código. Fue consensuado, se creó el Consejo de Ética y el Consejo de Ética tiene su área de
pueblo, directora de Consultoría Internacional de la Ley Humanitaria y Derechos Humanos de la Fundación Social.
Apoyó el salario universal, que no era muy...
Yeah, I'm Cynthia Cardenas. I'm the legal consultant for Article 19, the office in Mexico and Central America.
And what is Article 19?
Article 19 is an international organization working...
You know what? Sorry. 19.
Article 19 is an international organization working in human rights, particularly promoting and defending the right to freedom of expression all around the world. We have this regional office in Mexico and Central America, and we decided to base an office there due to the violence against the press.
When did the office in Mexico open?
In 2006.
Precisely because of...
Yeah, we started working in Mexico based on the approval of the law for access and transparency at the federal level, but with the diagnosis, seeing what or foreseeing the increase of violence against the press, we decided to establish a permanent office there.
Now, you discussed giving kind of holistic care to journalists. Tell me what that entails.
Okay, holistic protection was meant to protect journalists in two main rights. It's the integrity and life, but also the free flow of information based on the freedom of expression. So we decided to develop these self-protection trainings in which we develop modules or special courses to provide tools to journalists in order to protect themselves in risky coverage. Mexico is not living a war, but it's in a conflict in which new tools were needed in order for them to be safe. So we included first aid in this training. The right, get to know the right of freedom of expression in order to exercise it, but also to know its limits. There's a model on protocols, security protocols, in which each participant or journalist develops a security protocol within itself, their families, and the media. We included a kidnapping model in which they develop tools in order to prevent a kidnap or even to know how to face it. And at last, we just included a model of self-defense in which, well, they won't kill anyone, but they can learn how to fight and avoid any aggression. So we have been specializing this self-protection training due to the increase and changes in the kind of aggressions that they are facing. We are not only providing it to journalists or freelancers, news gatherers, but also to media. Media have also started to request our intervention in there. Holistic protection also includes safety measures in which we make a risk analysis, a risk assessment of a particular case, and we decide what measures can be taken in that case in particular. And we also have this legal safety intervention under 3 levels of intervention: the legal counseling, the immediate legal assistance, and legal representation. We found that media were not supporting journalists who were being attacked, so we decided to include a litigation project in order to accompany them. And it's almost based in the impunity, which ranks this kind of cases, which is of 99%. So at last we have this advocacy tools or advocacy policy in which we promote with the state to adopt all measures in order to comply with its international obligations.
And just a couple of quick last questions. In terms of helping journalists get asylum, if it comes to that point that a journalist feels like they need to leave Mexico, have you helped in those asylum cases?
Well, Article 19 have supported 3 cases. in which journalists went to Spain or Canada, not to the U.S. in our pool. But
why not to the U.S.?
They haven't asked for support, but we have approached the American Embassy in Mexico and have informed that we have recorded these cases in which journalists had to flee from the country due to the non-existence of security conditions for them. So we are prepared in order to support a case if there's the most extreme measure of a person in which to go.
And with the journalists that went to Canada, who were they?
Well, that's confidential information based on their security. If they want to go public, they will, but Article 19 is now considered a confidential theme.
And can you say what the story was or what the situation was that forced all three's exit from Mexico?
Sure. They were covering these two cases and almost all the cases in which we know that they have claimed asylum in another country are persons in the state of Chihuahua who were covering the use of force, public forces or security forces in the state. So in one particular case, the journalist was covering the feminicides in Ciudad Juárez, and she was very active in disclosing information on corruption, failed investigations on these cases, etc. And her husband was covering crime, making crime coverage at night. So both have some level of risk. And the other case was particularly in the same conditions as the other ones, covering security forces actions in the state.
And since you began, have you seen any improvement in the situation for reporters?
Well, we have recorded an increase in the aggressions since 2000. Mexico has a record of 10 disappeared journalists since 2000, and none of them have been found or their corpses. And numbers have been increasing over these years. The state has adopted some measures in order to address the situation, but these measures have been ineffective or insufficient in order to address them. And the lack of results speak for themselves. There is impunity in their cases, which is causing more perpetrators to attack or commit aggressions against journalists and media. There is no prevention public policy in order to protect journalists to avoid being attacked. Almost all assassinations and disappearances were preceded by threats. So you can say this could be prevented. And they're still pending a reform to the law in order to have an adequate legal framework.